Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster and I wanted to have a quick chat today about a new knife that I've bought. The knife's called TBS Boar and it's a folding lock knife. And I've had it a few weeks now and I've just been playing around with it, and I thought I'd just give you a few thoughts and opinions on the knife itself. Just to give you a bit of a close-up, it comes with a leather sheath. Now, to be honest, the sheath itself is nothing special. It's fairly plain and basic, but it is pretty well made. Hopefully you can see there, the stitching's nice and tight and uniform. You've got a little belt loop on the back and a popper on the front, which is actually a pretty good popper. Now inside the knife itself, it's a curly birch handle. There are a few different options for these. I quite like the natural look, so I went with the curly birch. I think there was also a walnut and a micarta handle as well. And again, this is a really nice sort of ergonomically made handle. It feels really nice when you're holding it in your hand. The blade itself, you've got a thumb stud on the blade so you can open it one-handed. And inside you can see you've got a liner lock, which again, if I move back out a bit, means that you can close the lock with your thumb. Hopefully you can see that here. So you push the lock across, move with your finger, and you can open and close all one-handed, which I find quite useful. The blade itself has got a Scandinavian grind, which is my preferred blade style for a bushcraft knife, and the main reason I bought this is I saw it online and I quite like the look of it, and it was just something as a backup, or more so an alternative to my fixed blade knives. It's just a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact. With the blade style, what it will do is allow me to do pretty much everything that I would normally do with one of my fixed blade knives. What I'll do, I'll throw some stats up on the screen for you just so you know size, shape, material, etc. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my second camera and just do a couple of very basic cutting tests with this, just to show you what it can do. And I'll give you my thoughts on what I think of it. The other thing I did want to show you, similar to my fixed bushcraft knives, hopefully you can see on the camera there, this has got a nice sharp 90-degree spine, which basically means I can throw sparks on it with a fire steel, which is, personally for me, is really important in a bushcraft knife. I always carry a fire steel with me when I go out, and I like to make sure that all of my knives will allow me to throw a spark. So what I'll do, let me just grab a piece of timber here. I'll turn the other camera on. And basically, I just wanted to show you, how sharp this blade is. Now, I haven't done anything to this blade. I haven't sharpened it. I haven't stropped it. I've done nothing to it, so this is essentially as it is out of the box. And one of the things I always like to make sure a knife can do is shave feather sticks. And hopefully you can see here, this is a lovely sharp blade. It's having no problems whatsoever cutting through this wood. I'm getting some nice tight shavings, albeit a few of them are falling off. So, as you can see, it's a nice, sharp blade that will allow me to create things like feather sticks with no problem at all. I'll take that off there, just pop these out of the way. If I go to the thicker side of this, just to give you a bit of a comparison to what I might do with a fixed blade knife. So again, if I want to use this for carving, if I'm making things like tent pegs, spoons, anything like that, I've got enough power with this knife to take off fairly large chunks of material. So it's really good for this finer work down the bottom here, and hopefully you can see on the camera there, quite how fine these shavings can go. Alternatively, I can take off nice big chunks of material as well. So again, this is only meant to be a really short review. I'm not going to go into too many details about this knife. For me personally, one-handed opening and closing. I can keep this on my belt, I can keep it in a pocket. If I'm in the middle of some sort of camp construction, maybe I'm building a shelter and I'm maybe holding a couple of pieces of wood that I want to lash together or something, I need to cut a piece of string, I can pull it out, I can make my cut, put it away safely. So that's a big bonus to me. I mean, obviously if you've got a fixed knife, you can pull it out your sheath, do exactly the same thing and put it back again. But I like the versatility this gives me. And it's a nice, small, it's fairly compact knife. It's not as small as a Swiss Army knife or the Buck Bantam that I reviewed a little while ago. It is a larger knife, which then obviously does allow me to do a little bit more with it. But because of this Scandinavian grind, it's really easy to maintain an edge, and it's really easy to maintain a very, very sharp edge. But for me, for what I paid for this, I'm really pleased with it. The company, I was not massively familiar with the company before, so it was a little bit of a gamble for me, but it's paid off really, really well. And you know, genuinely, I really do like this knife. As I say, the sheath itself, it's nothing fancy, but it does the job. And to be perfectly honest, I have seen there is an aftermarket sheath that you can buy for this. It's actually quite nice. It's a bit of custom tooled leather, which I like the idea of, so I may look at investing in that in the future. It's got a nice little pouch or a ringlet for a fire steel, and a few other attachment points on there. So again, I might look at doing that, and if I do buy one, I'll do a small review on that as well. But for anyone considering buying this knife, wholeheartedly recommend it. Any questions, any comments, anything you want to know about it, by all means drop something in the comments below. Be happy to answer any questions. Feel free to hit subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope to see you all next time. Thanks guys.